back to the grind with the only free MMA channel that fucking matters, Full-Time MMA. And damn. This is mixed feelings right here, honestly. This is because it's not that big of a deal, but at the same time it is. Donald Cerrone versus Robbie Lawler has been taken off of UFC 213, potentially to be rescheduled soon. At first it was reported Donald Cerrone had an injury, and Donald Cerrone made it clear that that's not technically the case. He said it's an infection in his blood. He said, letting everyone know this is not an injury, but a super bad infection in my blood. 7 days of IV and I'll be back at it, working on getting the fight rescheduled. So it's been reported that the fight could take place as early as UFC 214, the John Jones vs. Daniel Cormier, Chris Cyborg vs. Tanya Evinger card at July 29th in Anaheim. Now, that's big. That's big. Now, for us, this is why it doesn't matter. Because it's the same month. It's going to happen 2 weeks later. We still get to see the fight, and it's on a card we were going to buy anyways, as far as hardcore MMA fans. Now, this is what I'll say about UFC 213. The card is fucking stacked. This is what the card was before the Lawler-Cerrone injury. Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko. Huge for hardcore fans. Yoel Romero versus Robert Whittaker. Huge for hardcore fans. Robert Lawler versus Cowboy Cerrone. Huge for all fans, including casual. Donald Cerrone and Robbie Lawler, I would say, have a little bit of casual reach. Donald Cerrone probably has more casual reach than Robbie Lawler right now because he's been more active. He's been getting a little push. He's been in the headlines a little bit before the Masvidal fight. So Donald Cerrone is actually a draw. So we lose a casual appeal fight on this card. Let's go through the last two fights on this card. Fabricio Verdum versus Alistair Overeem. Huge for hardcore fans. Anthony Pettis versus Jim Miller. I mean, you know, it's a good fight. So, out of all 5 of these fights, this card is fucking stacked. To casual fans, even if one fight falls off, not casual fans, to hardcore fans like us, it doesn't matter if one of these fights fall off. Any one of these fights could fall off, and this is still a great card. But the pay-per-view sales just took a huge hit, I think, because Donald Cerrone versus Robbie Lawler was probably the fan favorite fight on this card. If I went and asked fucking the microwave, my fucking casual fan-ass brother, who do you know on this card, he's probably going to say Donald Cerrone. And other than that, maybe Amanda Nunes, but he's definitely not going to buy a pay-per-view fight for Amanda Nunes. That's the only 2 people he would know on this card, and he just lost one of them. So the casual fan is most likely not going to buy this card now. The one that might have said, hey, what is it? You know, it's payday. Fuck it. We're going to, it's payday. We're going to buy the card. Cowboy's fighting. They're probably not going to buy the card now the Cowboy's not fighting. Now they're definitely going to buy the John Jones Cormier fight, the Cyborg fight, the Cowboy Lawler fight. That's going to be fucking huge now. Even bigger. I was already ready for both cards. Both of these cards were already worth the money. This card is still worth the money to me as a hardcore fan. But the casual fan might not feel the same way. So this card is still definitely a great card. But it might have lost some pay-per-view sales, and that doesn't matter to me or you. But that's just something that I was thinking. Now let's talk about UFC 214, because this fight could be rescheduled for UFC 214. John Jones, Daniel Cormier 2, Cyborg versus Evinger. We just talked about Evinger. There's a really great underlying story to Tanya Evinger, and if you don't know it, go check the video I just put out about Cyborg's opponent being canceled and Evinger getting the shot. Evinger actually, a lot of people don't know Evinger, but she's got a pretty good story, man. She's a bantamweight. Okay, I'm not going to get into her story. I literally just did that. Okay, so that's going to be a good card. Evinger Cyborg. Jones Cormier 2. Cerrone versus Lawler now. I don't know who else is on the fight, but you know they're stacking that card. That's going to sell a lot of pay-per-views. A lot of people know Cyborg. Like I just mentioned, my casual fan brother. He knows Cyborg. He definitely knows Jones Cormier. He knows Cerrone. That's 3 fights he's going to be pumped for as a casual fan on that card. Casual fans will buy UFC 214. I don't know if we can say the same thing about UFC 213. UFC 213 will definitely do normal numbers. It will definitely be a success as far as compared to, like, you know, some of these pay-per-views where the main event falls out, or some of these pay-per-views where it's Holly Holm versus GDR, or Max Holloway versus Anthony Pettis because Cormier fell out. You know, those cards were not as stacked as this card. You know, these are on a whole nother level. This reminds me of UFC 211. You know, it's not the biggest casual draw, but it's a fucking stacked card that I love every fight on. So that's what I'll say. This card definitely took a hit. UFC 214 just got a big bump, a big plus. I mean, I was already going to be watching UFC 214 with it without that fight. So, I mean, yeah, it's kind of a bummer on this because we have to wait 2 more weeks. But who gives a fuck, man? That's what the fight game is. Sometimes shit happens like this. So I don't know what else to say, man. Fuck it. It is what it is. Let the haters know what the fuck you tell me in the comments, dude.